The summer ahead for Rangers looks nothing short of seismic. We're talking about a club standing right at the edge of transformation, with the winds of change blowing stronger than ever across Ibrox. From boardroom moves to dugout decisions, everything is pointing towards a new era, one that might finally lift Rangers back to the summit of Scottish football. And now, with the expected arrival of the 49ers Enterprises as the club's new controlling force, the pieces are starting to fall into place. The first big domino, Rangers, have officially confirmed that they'll be wearing Umbro kit starting next season. That's right. Umbro is making its return to Ibrox, a move that not only nods to the club's historic past, but also signals a fresh direction in commercial strategy. The announcement came straight from the top, revealed by CEO Patrick Stewart during a fan forum held at Emerson House. This isn't just a kit deal, it's a statement. A declaration that Rangers are ready to reintroduce a brand steeped in football tradition, one that's already been a part of some of the club's most iconic moments. Umbro's return marks the end of a partnership with Castori that began back in the 2021 season. That agreement was groundbreaking at the time. For Castori, it was their first real step into the elite level of football, using Rangers as their flagship club to break into the high-performance sportswear market. Financially, the deal delivered. The club's merchandise presence expanded globally, and commercially it looked like a win. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. From day one, fans raised concerns about kit quality delays in availability and inconsistent stock levels. It's the kind of frustration that sticks. And in football, those details matter more than people realize. Interestingly, even with the shift back to Umbro, Castori isn't entirely out of the picture. That's because Castori recently secured exclusive rights to manufacture and distribute Umbro's elite performance line across the UK, Ireland, and other international territories. So essentially, while the crest on the chest might change, the operations remain within the same network. It's Umbro on the outside, but Castori is still behind the scenes. For fans, though, the return of the iconic double diamond means more than just branding. It's nostalgia. It's about the memories of European nights, title-winning seasons, and that unforgettable run to the UEFA Cup final in 2008. But the bigger story this week, the one that truly shakes the foundation of Rangers Football Club, that would be the official appointment of Kevin Felwell as the new sporting director. The 50-or-9-year-old who had been serving as Everton's director of football will now take the reins at Ibrox. And this isn't just a paper signing. This is a strategic move, a reshaping of the footballing structure designed to restore long-term stability and elite ambition. Felwell's CV speaks volumes. Before Everton, he held senior roles at Wolverhampton Wanderers and the New York Red Bulls, overseeing recruitment and strategy at clubs operating in very different footballing ecosystems. But what unites all those roles is experience. Real top level experience. And that's exactly what Rangers were looking for. The hunt for a sporting director started back in February, led by CEO Patrick Stewart, with input from the consultancy group Sportsology and the technical director of the 49ers, Greta Steinson. The conclusion Rangers needed to return to a model where one individual had full oversight of the footballing operation. Someone to bridge the gaps, align the departments, and turn vision into reality. It's a return to structure that fans have been calling for ever since Ross Wilson left his post in 2023 to join Nottingham Forest. Since then, the club had been operating without a dedicated figure in that crucial role, and it showed. Results were inconsistent, recruitment looked muddled, and the long-term strategy felt absent. With Felwell in place, that changes. This is someone who understands what it takes to run a football department from top to bottom, from the first team to the academy, men's and women's football alike. Everything now funnels through him. In his first words after the appointment, Felwell was crystal clear about the challenge ahead. He spoke of Rangers' scale, its expectations, and most of all, its hunger for success. This is a huge honor, he said. And you could tell he meant it. He acknowledged the size of the job, but also embraced it, saying he's ready to work across all areas of the club to build something that lasts. Not just for a season or two, but for the long haul. He also didn't shy away from what's coming next, the need to appoint a new manager. That'll be his first big task, with Barry Ferguson currently serving as interim boss until the season wraps up. And let's be honest, the timing couldn't Be more urgent. Rangers' elimination from the Europa League at the hands of Athletic Bilbao last week effectively ended their season. Domestically, they've fallen short again, and in a league where margins are razor thin, there's no room for repeated failure. That's why the upcoming managerial appointment matters so much. It's not just about tactics or formations. It's about leadership. It's about finding someone who can bring the club together, deliver results, and compete with Celtic over the course of a grueling season, not just in one-off clashes. Meanwhile, the off-field developments continue to accelerate. Talks between Rangers' current ownership and the US-based consortium, which includes Andrew Kavanagh and the 49ers Enterprises Global Football Group, are said to be productive. A full takeover could be confirmed any day now, with promises of fresh capital and structural change at all levels of the club. The message from both sides is clear. This is about long-term ambition. It's about building a foundation that can carry Rangers into a new era, not just in Scotland, but on a European stage as well. But as always in football, words mean little without action. That's why former striker Chris Boyd didn't hesitate to sound the alarm. In his view, all the boardroom reshuffles and strategic hires in the world won't count for much if Rangers mess up in the transfer market again. And let's face it, he's got a point. Recruitment has been the Achilles heel for years. Whether it's been overpaying for underperforming players or failing to fill key positions, the mistakes have cost the club dearly. Boyd believes that this summer is make or break. Get it right, and Rangers could finally reclaim domestic dominance. Get it wrong, and the gap to Celtic will only widen. He also gave credit to Barry Ferguson, saying that despite the results, the mood around the club has improved since he stepped in. That lift in morale counts for something, but as Boyd put it, it doesn't guarantee wins on a Saturday, and that's the ultimate test. Ferguson might have steadied the ship, but the real challenge begins now, with change looming at every level, from the boardroom to the touchline to the dressing room. One thing is certain, the next few months will define Rangers' future for years to come. And for the supporters, the hope is that this time finally the club gets it right. As the curtain begins to fall on a season of frustration and inconsistency, the mood around Ibrox is one of cautious anticipation. Change is no longer a rumor, it's a process already in motion. And while optimism flickers with each new announcement, the weight of recent failures still lingers heavily over the club. Everyone knows that words and promises are only as strong as the results they lead to. For Rangers, the next few steps must be taken with both clarity and conviction, because the margin for error has all but vanished. Kevin Thelwell's arrival as sporting director is just the beginning of this new chapter, but the decisions that follow will determine how successful this chapter will be. His first major responsibility is to appoint a permanent manager, a decision that could shape the destiny of the club for the foreseeable future. Barry Ferguson, for all his heart and connection to Rangers, has been a stopgap solution. His presence brought stability, sure, but the performances have continued to fluctuate, and that inconsistency is exactly what the new regime must eliminate. There's an understanding now more than ever that Rangers cannot afford another transitional season. The club has spent too many years trying to rebuild from scratch, with every managerial change, too many windows patching over deeper problems instead of addressing them. The next appointment must bring not just tactical knowledge, but cultural alignment. The new manager must be someone who gets what Rangers is, who understands the expectations, the pressure, the rivalry, and most of all, the demand to win. Felwell will not have the luxury of time. The squad needs reshaping, and it needs it fast. Too many positions have lacked depth, quality, or both. The recruitment must be precise. No more short-term fixes. No more signings based on potential alone or on reputation without recent performance. Rangers need players who are ready to contribute from day one. Footballers with a mentality to thrive under pressure, who won't shy away from the demands of playing in front of a packed Ibrox every weekend, knowing that anything less than victory is considered failure. It's not just about competing with Celtic, it's about surpassing them. And that means consistency week in and week out. Rangers have shown in flashes that they can match Celtic on the day. We've seen it in derby games and cup performances, in those moments when a team seems to click into gear and remind everyone of the club's potential. But flashes are not enough. Football is a season-long grind, and for too long now, Rangers have failed to sustain a high level over 9 months. The lack of domestic success this year is a bitter pill, especially after a strong run in Europe that raised hopes across the fan base. Getting to the quarterfinals of the Europa League was an achievement, no doubt about it. But as many have said, Europe is not the bread and butter, Scotland is. And in the Premiership, Rangers have once again come up short. That's the reality that can't be ignored, no matter how exciting the takeover talks might be, or how inspiring a new sporting director sounds on paper. Those Europa League nights under the lights at Ibrox were special, and they reminded fans of what the club is capable of. But it also served as a contrast to the league campaign, one where points were dropped far too easily, where the team often looked flat or predictable, and where consistency was a dream that never quite materialized. The frustration isn't just from the failures, it's from the feeling that Rangers should be doing so much better. This is where the 49ers enterprises step in, and where their involvement must start to show its value. Everyone is watching. The money, the expertise, the resources, they all sound good, but they must translate into smart decisions, into infrastructure, player development, recruitment strategy, and eventually into silverware. Supporters have been patient. They've seen plans and projects come and go. They've watched rebuilds stall and restarts falter. This time they need more than ambition. They need execution. Behind the scenes, it's clear the groundwork is being laid. Talks between the consortium and the current board are reportedly productive. And there's a genuine belief that once the deal is finalized, Rangers will be in a position to move decisively. Additional capital could open doors that were previously shut. Whether it's bolstering the academy, expanding scouting networks, or investing in top-tier talent that previously seemed out of reach. But again, it all comes down to how the club uses that power. Chris Boyd's warning cuts right through the optimism. He's been there. He knows what it takes to win in Scotland, and his message was blunt: if Rangers get the recruitment wrong again this summer, all the behind-the-scenes restructuring will mean nothing. He praised Barry Ferguson for lifting the mood at the training center, for bringing some unity back to the place. But even he admitted that without results, none of that good feeling matters. It's a brutal truth, but one that must be acknowledged. This is not the time for sentiment. It's a moment for strategy, for precision, and above all, for leadership. The players brought in must be better than what's already in the building. They must fit the system, buy into the vision, and be ready to perform from the first whistle of the new campaign. And while a new manager will certainly bring ideas and fresh energy, he will need the right tools. No coach can succeed without the players to implement the plan. There's also a renewed emphasis on alignment. For the first time in a long time, it feels like Rangers are trying to create a footballing identity that runs through every level of the club. From the first team to the academy, from recruitment to performance analysis. That's where Felwell's experience becomes invaluable. His background is not just in identifying talent, but in building systems that allow that talent to flourish. That kind of long-term thinking has been missing at Rangers for too long. The women's team and youth programs are also part of this overhaul. Felwell made it clear that he sees all parts of the football operation as connected. That's a big shift. In the past, these departments often operated in silos, each with their own objectives. Now the goal is integration. A shared vision, shared values, and a structure where success at one level feeds into the next. If Rangers can get that right, they won't just be building for next season. They'll be building a club that's fit for the modern game in every sense. There's a lot of work to be done, and no one at Ibrox is pretending otherwise. But for the first time in a while, there's a roadmap. A plan that makes sense on paper, and if executed well, could bring Rangers back to where they belong. On top, not just in Scotland, but making real noise in Europe again. The journey ahead is long and the stakes are high, but the message is simple. Get it right this summer and everything changes. Get it wrong and the cycle continues. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Stephen Robinson has never been one to shy away from the spotlight, but this time, the St. Mirren boss may have stirred up more than just team spirit. In a fiery post-match interview that sent ripples across Scottish football, Robinson took a direct swipe at Rangers, questioning not only their tactics but also their character. His comments, bold and unapologetic, have already lit up the terraces and talk shows alike. After St. Mirren's solid performance at home, where they held their ground and matched their opponents stride for stride, Robinson couldn't resist the jab. "They're not as invincible as they think they are," he said with a wry smile. "There's a lot of noise that comes out of that side of Glasgow, but when the whistle blows, it's still 11 against 11. We showed we weren't afraid, and maybe that rattled them a bit." It wasn't just the fans who took notice. Several former players and pundits chimed in, some applauding the Paisley manager for his courage, others warning that such words could come back to haunt him. But Robinson, clearly buoyed by his squad's recent displays, seemed unfazed. "If speaking the truth winds a few folk up, then so be it. We're not here to roll over for anyone," he added, doubling down on his comments. The Rangers camp, meanwhile, has remained tight-lipped, with their next fixture looming and pressure mounting in the title race. But one suspects that behind closed doors, the words of the St. Mirren gaffer will be pinned to the dressing room wall, fuel for the fire in a league that needs no extra drama. Whether Robinson's remarks were a clever bit of psychological warfare or just unfiltered honesty, one thing is certain: he's put the spotlight firmly on Paisley, and in doing so, he's thrown a dash of spice into the Premiership that fans won't soon forget. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comment section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.